What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. Michael Carpenter is reporting that Robert Easter Jr. will take on Adrian Granados in Cincinnati on October 26th. So that means it's going to be a triple header that night because about 4 days ago, I think Erickson Lubin versus Terrell Gasha and Brian Castano versus Omatoso. That's the guy that defeated Curtis Stevens on the undercard of Kanaki versus Areola. That was the first fight on that card. It was a barn burner too, as Curtis Stevens was dropped multiple times by Omatoso, who was moving up from welterweight, and Curtis Stevenson was moving down from middleweight. So that was a good fight, man. The guy Omatoso is from Nigeria. Now, as far as the Easter Jr. versus Granados fight, that's going to be a very interesting fight, a crossroad fight for both guys, because both guys cannot afford another loss. Because they take another loss, man, they're going to be on basically stepping stone type status. They're going to be stepping stones for up-and-coming fighters to fight, to find out where they're at that time of their young careers. They're going to be those type of fighters. So it's a big fight for those guys. I would have to slightly favor Granados, even though I think Easter Jr. is just more skilled fighter. He's going to be fighting in front of his hometown, but he just is not aggressive enough, man. I think Granados has a chance to outwork him. Outwork him, and he's he seems like he wants it more hungrier fighter. As not saying that Easter Jr. is not hungry, but he seems to be more of a guy to me that thinks too much in the ring. It's almost like he doesn't let his hands go either. Similar to his big brother Adrian Broner, doesn't let his hands go. Especially in his last fight. I don't know, maybe that was just a bad style matchup against Barthélemy, but didn't throw it nearly enough punches. That was just a very awkward fight. You had two guys that were slick fighters trying to box, and nobody wanted to be the aggressor. And it was just, I think Easter was forced to be the aggressor because Barthélemy is not an aggressive type of fighter. He's a guy that wants to counter you, and it was just made for a real boring fight. But I actually thought Easter Jr. Probably lost that fight. It was close. It could have been a draw. Neither fighter did enough to win the fight, but if I had to give it to somebody, I probably would have gave it to Barthélemy because he made Easter do a lot of missing. His defense was a little bit better than Easter Jr. defense. But neither guy landed a punch, so a draw was probably the right call. But he's going to have to be a little bit more aggressive in this fight. Because if he doesn't be more aggressive and kind of sits on the back foot waiting for Granados to come to him, Granados does a good job of getting inside your chest and making a rough and tumble type of fight. Getting to, and outworking you. And he's the bigger fighter. Well, he's the bigger fighter. Thinking about it, because he was at 147 when he fought Garcia. He's coming back down to 140, which is probably his natural weight, his more preferred weight class. And Easter Jr. probably was weight draining, coming down to 135, and he's coming up to 140. He's a tall guy. He's a guy that probably could, with his frame, probably could end up going up to, if he was a elite fighter. He's not an elite fighter, but if he was like a elite fighter, he's got that Thomas Hearns frame. He could probably move up to like middleweight. His body frame probably could hold that weight, man, but he just doesn't have the skill level or the punching power to probably carry up to those weights. He's got to get a little bit more skill, and he's got to win big fights, man. Elite fighters move up in weight class and challenge themselves, and those guys like Thomas Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard. But as far as this fight goes, it's going to be in Cincinnati, and that leads me to look at another thing. Adrian Broner was reportedly supposed to be fighting on October 12th against Ivan Radcash, but I don't think the money is up to snuff for Adrian Broner, so that fight could be in jeopardy. And you would think that fight could have been in Cincinnati too, but that fight's probably going to be in another venue if it takes place. So that's going to be interesting to see if Showtime have two fights that close in proximity. Knowing that Showtime is working on a budget, boxing budget, and they're not known to have dates that close here recently. The last couple of years they ain't really had fights in that close of proximity, within a 2-week span of each other. But maybe they do that. Maybe they do Adrian Broner October 12th and do the triple header with Easter and Granados opening it up. It'd be interesting to see who will be the headliner if those three guys fight, because Easter Jr. is right from Toledo, Ohio, so he's going to have a lot of fans out there. But it'd be interesting to see which ones be the triple header, which one would be the main event of that fight. You got him, both fights have credibility to be a main event. Easter Jr. is a draw. Him and Granados, that is a true 50-50 fight. You got Brian Castano versus Omatoso. Brian Castano used to be the WBA junior middleweight regular champion before he was stripped. But I don't think, that won't be the main event. And then you got Erickson Lubin, who's a rising star at 154 pounds, a guy that was on that skyrocketed part of his trajectory before he got derailed by Jermell Charlo in a one-hitter-quitter knockout in the first round. You got him fighting Terrell Gasha. So I would assume that Robert Easter Jr. and Cincinnati, being in Cincinnati, Robert Easter Jr. and Granados would be the main event, and Erickson Lubin would be Erickson Lubin versus Terrell Gasha will be the co-main event, and then you have Brian Castano versus Omatoso, which is going to be a brawn burner. That's a sleeper fight of the year. That's going to be a good fight. A lot of people don't know Omatoso, man. That guy let his hands go. He dropped Curtis Stevenson multiple times in the opening bout to Kanaki versus Areola, which overall was a very good card. You had that good opening fight. Then you had John Pascal and Marcus Brown was a barn burner, and then you had Kanaki and Areola. But that probably might have been the best card of the year as far as action on the PBC network. So that was good, very good, very good. But that's what we got, folks. That's the breaking news. We got Robert Easter Jr. versus Adrian Granados. And my early prediction, I have the right of first refusal or right to change my mind in this particular case. But early prognostication is Adrian Granados is going to outwork him, man, and rough Robert Easter Jr. up and kind of outwork him, out-hustle him to a decision victory. But it being in Cincinnati, he might get the short end of the judges' scorecard like he did with Adrian Brony and other fights. So maybe he don't. I'm just basing on who I think is going to win, and if I'm judging the fight, who I would have winning. I think he's going to be outworking him, and he's going to be the more busier fighter, and he's going to outwork Robert Easter Jr. Robert Easter Jr. come in there, let his hands go, and fight us. If he's got the better skill, use his jab, use his reach, and move and use his skill set. He can outbox Granados. Don't let Granados cut the ring out and Granados get there, grab, hold, time up, move him back to the center of the ring. Use your left jab, use your right hand. Use your check left hook. Change angles on him and use your skill, because he got skills. He got boxing skills. And if he uses skill level, he'll win the fight. But he's kind of like he's like a boxer that likes to fight, man. He doesn't want to. What's that boy back in the day that had that motorcycle accident, end up in that wheelchair? The Williams. Remember Williams? He fought Sergio Garcia. Big 6'1" guy, could box, but he want to fight, get in the brawls. Don't use his height, shrink down to his opponent's level and getting into these barn burner type of fights. And he was Paul Williams. He was into a lot of exciting fights, man. But that guy was 6'2", man. You got to use your reach and your jab, and that's what Robert Easter Jr. reminds me of. He doesn't use his skill sets, his God-given ability, man. He wants to get into these toe-to-toe phone booth battles when he don't have to. And if he does that with Adrian Granados, he's gonna lose. So it's all about what the game plan is with Easter Jr. Will he try to go out there and box, or will he go toe-to-toe with him? Based on his history, he's going to try to go toe-to-toe and go to war with Granados, and I think that's going to be his downfall. But we'll see what takes place, and as we get closer to the fight, we got to get my official prognostication. That's just my early thoughts on that fight. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.